In a meeting that surprised many political observers, President Donald Trump and New York City Mayor-elect Zohran Mamdani met at the White House on November 21, 2025, and offered a demonstration of cordiality and cooperation that belied months of public animosity. Mamdani, a 34-year-old Democratic socialist who will become New York's first Muslim mayor, and Trump, former president and prominent Republican, have been at odds for much of the 2025 election cycle. Trump publicly criticized Mamdani on multiple occasions, calling him a communist, threatening to withhold federal funds from New York City if Mamdani won, and even suggesting the mayor-elect might be subject to deportation due to his Ugandan birth. Meanwhile, Mamdani likewise described Trump as a despot and a fascist during the campaign, repeatedly framing his candidacy as a repudiation of Trump-style politics. Nevertheless, when the two men met in the Oval Office, the tone shifted. The meeting, initially billed as cautiously cordial by Trump, turned into an unexpectedly warm encounter. Trump remarked afterward, "We have one thing in common. We want this city of ours that we love to do very well." Both men pivoted to a shared concern about cost of living and affordability in New York City. Mamdani asserted that many of his voters overlapped with Trump's base because of their frustration over rising housing costs and economic strain. Cost of living, cost of living, cost of living, he said. Trump acknowledged this. Some of his ideas really are the same ideas that I have. This convergence suggests an interesting alliance across ideological lines, a left-wing mayor-elect and a right-wing former president finding common issue ground. The two men did not ignore their prior antagonism, but they employed humor and de-escalation rather than conflict. For example, when Mamdani was asked whether he still considered Trump a fascist, Trump intervened jokingly, "That's okay. You can just say yes. It's easier than explaining." And when reminded of Trump's prior attacks on Mamdani, the president said with a grin, "I've been called much worse than a despot." The tone, though perhaps casual, reflects a conscious effort to move from confrontation to cooperation on this occasion. The meeting carries real institutional importance. New York City relies on federal funding to run many of its large-scale services, and Trump's previous threats to withhold funds had created a tension point. Mamdani made clear that he viewed the meeting as an opportunity to secure cooperation for his city, not get caught in a political trap. Trump signaled his willingness to support rather than punish Mamdani. "I expect to be helping him, not hurting him," he said. For a mayor-elect, whose transition requires stable federal-local relationships, this is a key signal of mutual utility. Political commentators noted that the meeting may reflect a horseshoe alignment, where the extremes of left and right curve toward each other on certain populist economic issues. Mamdani, from the far left of the Democratic spectrum, and Trump, from the populist right, both emphasized executive power, interventionist policies on business/rates, and direct appeals to disaffected voters. The union is less about shared ideology than shared style and strategy, but that matters in today's polarized environment. For New York City, the handshake signals that Mamdani could begin his term with at least some federal cooperation, which is critical for New York's large budget and service system. For U.S. politics, a high-profile meeting like this shows that cross-party, cross-ideology collaboration is possible, even between people previously at war publicly, when focus shifts to concrete issues like affordability and housing. The Trump-Mamdani moment may foreshadow a reshaping of political alignments, where what matters is less liberal versus conservative and more who can deliver results in a time of economic frustration. For each man, for Trump, aligning with this popular mayor-elect enhances his populist credentials. For Mamdani, securing federal support while retaining an independent voice strengthens his incoming administration's position. Should we trust the warmth? Some argue the meeting was largely symbolic and lacks a detailed policy roadmap. The lack of specific agreements leaves many questions unanswered. What about core disagreements? On immigration enforcement and deportation, and on other ideological points, e.g., Mamdani's progressive agenda versus Trump's conservative base, tensions remain. The meeting did not erase them. Could this blur accountability? When two adversaries become publicly cordial, it sometimes reduces clarity about their distinct positions, and for voters or citizens trying to hold each accountable, that might complicate things. What to watch next? Will Mamdani secure specific federal funding commitments or policy support from the Trump-era federal apparatus? Will Trump endorse or assist key NYC initiatives, housing, affordability, transit proposed by Mamdani? Will the apparent warmth hold when disagreements arise on crime policy, immigration enforcement, or other flashpoints? Will this meeting spur broader cross-partisan alignments in other cities or contexts, particularly around urban affordability? In summary, the Trump-Mamdani meeting offers a striking image of former foes finding common ground in the Oval Office. It may be more than optics. It may signal shifting alliances driven by economic pressure and municipal urgency. But the real test will come when specific policies and conflicts emerge.